with the decision making that's showing up right now in these protests. That's what I'm more upset. The decision that is not even there to actually use common sense when you're getting around federal officers, whether you think they're federal officers or not, doesn't matter. And I'm more upset with the fraud that's being covered up concerning it. They all getting paid, and they all been getting paid.
So while Bovino's cracking down in Minnesota, House Republicans turning the heat up on Ilhan Omar. They want to know how she got all that money.
What your response is to the Oversight Committee launching an investigation into your net worth, you and your husband's net worth. They're claiming that it's risen rapidly. What's your response to what they're saying?
House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer. All right, Mr. Comer, you were in banking before politics, right? So she suddenly, in 1 year, after being worth a few $1,000s, is now worth $30 million. Have you ever seen anything like that?
No, and the way the financial disclosure forms are, there's a big variation. But here's what we know: she went from zero to anywhere between $6 and $30 million in a year. Now, why is that relevant? First of all, I don't know many people that go from 0 to 30 without having a legitimate business. Her husband is in some type of finance business, but we don't know what it is. It doesn't appear to be private equity. It doesn't appear to be venture capital. So we just have questions. What exactly is the business that you're involved in?
So it doesn't appear to be private equity or venture capital. I thought it was private equity. I thought it was venture capital. Because in private equity and venture capital, you can at least funnel money through, okay? At least they funnel money through private equity, venture capital. Hey, oh, you're buying houses. Oh, you're buying property. Okay, let's give you $250,000. No, let's give you 500. Let's give you 7 million. You can go buy some houses, and while you're doing that, cut yourself off too. You know that, and you think that it's not like that, and we expect our check, but it's really not our check. We're just really trying to tell you we appreciate you putting up the fight for your cause or the cause we both share. And you think it's not like that, but I think it is. I think it's like that more than you actually think it is. And it's a scary thing for some people to actually have these conversations. Some people don't want to listen to it. They don't want to have it. They don't believe it. Okay. They don't believe it at all. And when they look at their 401ks and they look at how much they have to retire on based against what would you call it? A government employee who was elected to that position, then you got to weigh it out. You got to weigh it out. You've been putting through your work, your creativity, you showing up to work, you're doing what you got to be doing, you're making those hard decisions. They believe that because they have access to that information, they should live higher and better. Plain and simple. Believe it or not.
It's kind of like the same questions we asked Hunter Biden that he never could answer. But then, you know, she won't answer any questions. The ethics committee is supposed to investigate members. We're not supposed to investigate individual members, but this business is in her husband's name. So we can investigate her husband, and we are going to do that because we're, as you know, in the middle of this Minnesota welfare fraud. And there's been a lot of accusations about a circle of influential Somali Americans that are benefiting from these financial scams in Minnesota. Her name is on the list. Now, she's going to get due process. I don't know if she's guilty, but what I know is she went from 0 to anywhere between $6 and $30 million in a year, and she won't even answer a simple question like you saw there. What did you do?
I mean, it looks very suspicious when you have millions of the Somali cash just flying all over Minneapolis with no scrutiny whatsoever. Wasn't there also a vineyard involved here? The husband's involved in the wine business?
Yeah. You know, there's a thing called money laundering where people have businesses and they deposit, lots of cash. Again, I'm not accusing them of any wrongdoing, but she should answer a simple question. If any member of Congress is asked what business their family's involved in, I've never seen one fail to answer it. That's not a hard question. My husband has a private equity firm and he's done exceptionally well in the last 12 months. She won't answer that question. And everybody in America suspects foul play here.
Right.
And again, we're going to find out. It's not going to be hard to figure out what business he's in and where the money came from. So that's going to be a central part of our entire Minnesota fraud investigation because she is the leader in Congress, in the district, in the congressional district where the overwhelming majority of the welfare fraud is taking place, her name, as well as the Attorney General Keith Ellison's name, have been mentioned as people of interest. I'll put it like that, Jesse. So we're gonna follow through on this, and I think she's gonna have some difficult questions to answer.
All right. Well, if Omar starts painting and selling those pieces of art, then I think we're on to something. Congressman, good to see you. Thank you so much.
Hey, Sean Hannity.
So this is not a brand new thing. Ilhan Omar, and the more that this comes out, a lot of people, y'all don't want to talk about it. Y'all dislike it. Y'all hate it. Why is it so inconceivable that this is a fact? I don't know why it's so inconceivable that this can be true. Why? Is it because you don't want Trump to be right? And I do think a lot of them just don't want Trump to be right. And it's okay if you don't like Donald Trump. It's perfectly fine. But you can't ignore the reason behind it. You can't. See, a lot of these politicians, you got to realize the reason why there's a lack of respect sometimes, even with Donald Trump and some of these other guys and the politicians, and that class is also it's like a class warfare, I would actually say. Why it seemed like they were warring so much when Trump was trying to get into office. You had the entertainers, you had the politicians, you still got the businessmen right now. It's because they all recognize and realize when you work for the federal government, there's so many loopholes you can make money on, man. So many loopholes. You get access to so much information, so much stuff, especially when you're elected official. You know when stuff is coming down the line. If I knew what was going to happen when what's his name, Arthur Blank built the Falcon Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, if I knew that was going to happen right there, I would have focused my energy on buying everything in that square mile radius. But do you believe that do you not understand and believe that some of the politicians that actually work for Atlanta, they knew that there was a proposal up from Arthur Blank to potentially take over down there and demo one of the oldest one of the oldest churches in Atlanta downtown, buy it, demo, and build. This is real thing. This is how you find deals. This is how you make money.